Hello, today's the anniversary of the birth in 1812 of Charles Dickens. He was very friendly with Wilkie Collins, another novelist of the period. Dickens, 12 years his senior, but they had a very collaborative, very warm relationship, good friendship, producing plays and articles together, going on holiday together. Their families became connected by marriage, and it was a very warm, collaborative relationship. When Wilkie Collins died, some 20 years after Dickens did, a book was discovered in his connection, a biography by John Forster of Charles Dickens, in which Wilkie Collins had written notes saying what he thought about some of Dickens' work. He says, for example, of Barnaby Rudge, that it was the weakest book that Dickens ever wrote. Of the second half of Dombey and Son, he said, no intelligent person can have read it without astonishment at the badness of it. Oliver Twist, he thought, was wonderful, but it was a hopelessly bad construction. It wasn't entirely negative. He was very, very approving of The Tale of Two Cities, which he said was the most perfect work of constructive art that has ever proceeded from Dickens' pen. I was left wondering whether these feelings, these criticisms and comments were ever conveyed to Dickens when they were together, whether this was part of their friendship, that they told each other these honest truths. But it doesn't read like that to me. This reads more like something that he's put in the margins in order to get it out of his system, because he wasn't saying it to Dickens himself. Who knows? But it led me to think about when and why we speak truths to those we're friendly with. Clearly, Wilkie Collins looked up to Dickens as his sort of mentor, and he may have felt a little bit in awe of him, and felt that he didn't really have a right to criticise him to his face. He may have felt that the friendship might not have lasted if he had been honest about how he thought. He may have thought that it perhaps wouldn't have been particularly creative to knock Charles Dickens' confidence by saying these rather critical things about his work. These are some of the reasons that we can come up with too when we are in a close friendship with somebody, but we feel there's something we feel that we ought perhaps to say to them, something critical. We can feel in awe of them, or we can feel it's not the right moment, or we can feel we don't want to put them down and discourage them. Or we may feel that our friendship couldn't last if we did speak the truth. On the other hand, friendship is really about sharing honestly how we feel, and sometimes the kind of guidance and wisdom and understanding that we can offer to those we're close to can be very important to them and very valuable to them. And oftentimes when we say something that's we feel is rather bold to say, it can be met not with dismissal, but with great approval, because if it's felt to be true and it comes from someone who knows and loves us, then it can be taken on board with gratitude. And so today I've not got any advice about deciding how and when and what to say to our friends if we want to be, if we're feeling critical of them. How we do it is really very difficult and probably has to be decided on the spur of the moment. But just to applaud the effort, and perhaps to recommend that we don't do what Collins did and just save all our criticisms up for the notes of a book, rather than somehow or other working out a way of conveying our comments, if we feel they're right, to our friend face to face.